Inflation is way down. The biggest thing is inflation. The second biggest thing is energy. Energy is way down, and what's also down? Gasoline. Also, the biggest thing is inflation, and it's way down. The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe Biden, and the prices are way down.
Inflation is actually real. Many prices are not actually falling. They are actually rising. And the American people, you, every day when you go to the grocery store, when you buy gas, you see it, you feel it every single day.
He says inflation is way down. Millions of Americans say, try telling that to my grocery bill. This video peels back the showmanship and gets to the cold, everyday truth. What the numbers say, what people are feeling at the checkout line, and why this gap between presidential messaging and real life could reshape politics and the economy in the months ahead. Right now, the official inflation story looks kinder than the daily life story. The Consumer Price Index shows headline inflation has cooled to roughly the low single digits, a far cry from the double-digit fears of a few years ago. But the nuance matters, and it's the nuance that voters notice. Food at home, the groceries you buy every week, is still up significantly year over year, leaving families feeling squeezed, even if the overall index softens. The BLS notes grocery prices were about 2.7% higher in September compared with a year earlier. Gasoline tells another story. Prices can swing fast and hit people's wallets in real time. The latest monthly readings show big month-to-month jump in gasoline that translated into pain at the pump for many Americans. In September, gasoline recorded a notable increase from August. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Those spikes, even if temporary, are the kind of visceral cost increases voters remember when they cast ballots or answer pollsters. And that's exactly what the polls are finding. A new Washington Post ABC News Ipsos survey found roughly 7 in 10 Americans say they're spending more on groceries now than a year ago, a striking, plain-spoken metric of how affordability is front and center for families. The same poll shows a majority of Americans blame the president for rising prices. This is political oxygen. When people connect the pain they feel to the leader in the White House, that shapes approval, turnout, and the narrative heading into midterms. So what's going on beneath the headlines? First, the difference between headline inflation and lived experience. Headline CPI, averages price, changes across the entire economy. Housing, medical care, used cars, services, energy, and when some expensive categories cool, the overall rate drops. But households spend most of their everyday cash on groceries, gasoline, utilities, and rents. If those line items are rising, people feel poorer even while the headline number flirts with single digits. That disconnect is political dynamite. Second, supply shocks and industry structure matter. Look at beef and meat. Prices have climbed for reasons ranging from drought and herd sizes to global trade decisions and consolidation in meatpacking. That's why the White House has publicly pushed a DOJ antitrust probe into meatpackers amid outrage over soaring beef costs, a move aimed at demonstrating action and shifting blame to big industry players. But investigations take time, and experts warn they may not produce immediate relief at the checkout. Third, messaging versus credibility. A president can repeat a narrative, inflation is down, everything is great, and rally parts of the base. But broad swaths of the electorate take their cues from personal pocketbook experience. If your weekly grocery run costs more, or your commute eats a bigger chunk of your paycheck, statistical nuance rings hollow. That's why advisors inside the administration are reportedly urging a pivot to affordability as a main message axis. It's the one voters care about most right now. Let's put that in a human story. Picture a single mom in Ohio juggling 2 jobs. She sees the supermarket sticker shock. She hears the president on TV saying inflation is down. Which carries more weight? Her bank statement. That's the electoral reality. Millions of voters make decisions not on press releases or indexes, but on tangible changes in their budgets. That's also why candidates who zero in on cost of living concerns can cut across party lines. Affordability doesn't respect partisan identity when it hits the household budget. Policy responses matter, and they're messy. Short-term relief can look like targeted subsidies or price inspection probes. Medium-term fixes require supply-side adjustments, boosting domestic production, easing bottlenecks, or changing trade rules, and longer-term solutions involve productivity growth and wage gains that outpace prices. The administration's request for investigations or enforcement action signals a political priority, but those tools aren't magic wands. Antitrust cases, regulatory changes, or trade shifts take time and carry trade-offs. The public wants fast relief. Policy rarely moves that fast. There's a geopolitical and economic angle, too. Global commodity markets, weather shocks, and trade policies affect U.S. prices. If the U.S. tightens or relaxes trade barriers, or if foreign supply disruptions occur, American households feel it. That's why what looks like a domestic economic issue, groceries, gas, rents, is also entangled with global production, climate patterns, and diplomatic choices. For a geopolitically minded channel, that's a crucial story. Domestic price pain can force foreign policy and trade adjustments, and vice versa. What should viewers watch for next? First, concrete policy moves aimed at affordability price checks, FTC DOJ antitrust actions, shifts in import rules, or emergency subsidies. Second, how the administration reframes its message. Will it pivot from inflation is down to a more empathetic problem-solving posture focused on pocketbook relief? Third, how voters react. Polls already show cost concerns are decisive, and political fallout from perceived economic pain can reshape midterm dynamics. Here's the take you can't ignore. Messaging without credibility is brittle. Repeating that inflation is down when bread, beef, milk, or gas are rising is a recipe for cognitive dissonance among voters. Leaders who couple correct data with clear, tangible steps for relief and who talk like they understand the grind of daily life perform better politically. That's not just politics, it's governance. People want solutions they can feel, not only statistics. For your channel, that's the story to sell. Explain the numbers simply, show the lived experience, map the policy options, and tie it to the political stakes. Use a quick opening, one shocking personal anecdote or a concrete price example, then cut to the data, headline CPI versus groceries versus gasoline, then lay out the wedges supply, industry structure, policy limits, and finish with clear watch points and what ordinary viewers can do. Compare prices, watch for policy announcements, contact representatives, and follow coverage. In the end, the headlines may say inflation is improving, but politics is won and lost at the supermarket. If voters keep feeling the pinch, that feeling will outweigh reassurances from the podium. Leaders who want to keep credibility must answer the simple question every person asks. Can you make life more affordable for my family this month? If the answer isn't obvious at the checkout, the political bill will come due. Thanks for watching. Keep this one on your playlist, because affordability is the story that will define the next year of American politics. Stay sharp, focus on the facts and the people behind the numbers, and keep an eye on those policy moves that might actually ease the burden where it matters most.